Kal Kadosh, I wanted to share with you a beautiful idea that I saw in this week's parasha. It once actually occurred with a story with Rav Moshe Feinstein, the house of the Gadol Ador of America, where his grandson was taking care of him. He was at home, and the phone rings. Comes, picks up the phone. It's an elderly woman, and she asks to speak to Rav Moshe Feinstein. So he says, listen, right now, my grandfather's unavailable. Can I take a message, this, that? Okay, fine. She's going to call back. 10, 15, 20 minutes maximum later, again, she calls again. He takes the phone again. He says, no, again, the same lady. So he asks her, listen, is it very urgent? So she says, yes. She says, I need to know what time is candle lighting. I need to know what time is Shabbat. So the grandson is astonished. He says, what? He says, why, you don't have a calendar at home? The woman, which was taken aback, an elderly woman, she says, I don't understand you. For the past 30 years, I've been calling Rav Moshe Feinstein to find out candle lighting time, and he never asked me such a question. The grandson was astonished. The grandson he's overtaken. He says, how could it be? To understand what it is that my grandfather had such a patience that every single week this woman is coming and she's calling him for some information, which is the easiest information to get. It means that he understood that there was something behind this phone call. And he understood that the hidden message behind it was that this woman needs some type of attention and some type of importance to her life. So she feels that she's important if she's able to speak to one of the Gedolei Ador. But the interesting thing is that he didn't actually ever tell her that. He gave her what she needed because exactly of that. In Parashat Kedoshim, in this week's parasha, the second parasha, we read something interesting. A pasuk says, Lo tekalel cheresh. We may not curse a deaf person. And the question is, one second, you can't curse a deaf person, but you could curse a person that hears? What does that mean? What's going on exactly? But rather, Kam Chachamim, and they say, and the Ramban answers as follows. The Ramban says, no, you know what we're talking about. He says there's a Hidush here, a novelty. I would have thought to say that when are you not allowed to curse? You're not allowed to curse when we're talking about a case or a scenario where when you come and you hurt someone's feelings when you curse them. You came, you took it out on them, they were embarrassed, they were taken aback, they were hurt. But if you're going to speak to the wall, if you're going to curse the wall, you're going to curse a person that anyway doesn't hear you. So I would have thought to say that maybe it's permitted. Because what would be the Isur? Or why would it be Asur? Comes the Ramban, Nachmanides, and he says, that is what is coming to teach us the Torah. It's still Asur to curse the Cheresh. Meaning if it would have told us a normal person, it's obvious. The Hidush is, the novelty is, even a person that can't even hear what you're cursing him behind his back. Because even if it's to his face, he doesn't understand what you're saying. Still, it's going to be prohibited. The question is why? And there's a beautiful Rambam in the Sefer Hamizvot. This is now Maimonides. But he comes and he explains the yesod, the fundamental importance of the reasoning behind this. And he says because the curse, the isur of cursing is not only because you are going to hurt the other person's feelings. It's not only going to become because you came and you actually went and you hurt them and you debased them, you put them down, and now they're suffering. Nothing to do with it. It says that could also be the big part of it, but it's more than that. He says it's because of the cursor, the one that's making the curse. When I come, chas v'shalom, and I'm going to curse someone, and I'm going to let go and to lash out this negative energy that you're going to come and bring upon other people, that in itself is much worse because of what's happening to me, what's happening to us. Where do we see such a concept? So it's interesting to note There's a beautiful Gemara that we just learned in Daf Yomi recently. Daf Lamed Amud Bet, a famous Gemara. I'm going to read it out to you. Tan Rabbanan, we learned in a Braita. Leolam yeheh adam al-vatran ki Hillel v'al yedei kaptan keshamai. A person should always be humble, noble like Hillel, and he shouldn't be strict like Shammai. Why? Maaseh b'shnei adam. It was a story with two different people. Sheimru zeh. They made a competition, a bet. What was the bet? He says, Amru, kol mi shielech v'yaknit Hillel itol 400 zuz. If somebody's going to come and they're going to convince, they're going to come and they're going to get Hillel angry, so then they're going to get 400 zuz. Now, just to understand, 400 zuz is an enormous amount. That's 2 years' worth of salary. That means whatever you make of salary per year, double that. And we're talking about as a one-off coming and getting Hillel angry, getting him to come off, right, to tip off of his chair, as if to say, and get him angry. So Kam Chachamim, and they say, what happened? One of them said, Ani aknitenu, I'm the one, I'm going to go, and I'm going to do it. Don't worry about me. Fine. It was Erev Shabbat. What happens is, Hillel chafaf et rosho, Hillel was bathing himself to get ready for Shabbat. So this person comes to the house, and he passes by the house, and he says, Mikan Hillel? Is Hillel here? Is Hillel here? Now here we're talking about a Nasi. Not only just a rabbi, but a Nasi of Yisrael, the prince of Yisrael. We're talking about somebody of the highest caliber, highest statures, and hierarchy. You're going to come and you're just going to say, is Hillel here? What's going on? That's what he did. Immediately, Hillel comes out to greet him. And he says, Beri, my son, what do you need? He says, I have an incredible question. I have an important question. So he says, what shall be? Ask my son. Tell me what's the question. Amarlo, he says, what's the question? He says, why is it that the Rashen Shabavim, the Babylonians, their heads, they're like segalglo, they're like cone heads. They look like long. So why? Amarlo beni, she'ela gedola shata. Oh, what a question you asked. You know why? Is again an Erev Shabbat. He's in the middle of taking his bath. Because it's an incredible question. Why are the Babylonians, they look like that? He says, you know why? He says, they don't have good midwives. So when the baby comes out, they don't know how to form the head, everything. They don't know. Well, this is what's happening. Okay. He goes, he waits another half an hour, another, says Sha'achat. He waits another little time. Again, he comes back. He says, is Hillel here? Hillel here. Same question. He says, he comes out. Right? What do you need, my son? Ask. He says, I have a question. Why are the eyes of the Talmudiyin, why are they round? They're short. They're very small and round. It's the same thing. She'ela gedola shalta, an incredible question you ask. Because why? They live by the sand. And the sand could get in their eyes, so they're always squinching like this with their eyes. So that way the sand doesn't get into their eyes. Again, he leaves a third time around. Is Hillel here? Hillel here. He comes out again. The entire story. He says, why is it that the Africans, that their legs are very long? Right? Why are they rechovot? Why are they rechovot? Why is it called rachav? So he says, you know why? Again, an incredible question you asked. He says, but they're going in water, right? And therefore they need their legs become longer. Amarlo comes and he says, he says, you know, I have a lot of questions, but I'm afraid maybe you're going to get angry. He comes, he puts himself ready, and he says, Kol she'elot sheyesh lecha lishol, she'al. Any question that you have, ask. Amarlo, he comes and he tells him, are you Hillel that they call the Nasi Yisrael? He says, yes. He says, if so, there shouldn't be people like you at all in this world. Amarlo, he comes and he tells him, Beni, my son, why are you saying that? So he says, you know why? I lost my bet. I could have gotten 400 zuz. Imagine how much money I could have gotten now. And I lost it because of you. Amarlo, he said, you have to understand the nature of Yehoshua bin Nun. It was written, right? You have to, Moshe Rabbeinu comes and he says, I want, Yifkod Hashem Elokei Ruchot Lechol Basar Ish. He says, Elokei Ruchot. Elokei Ruchot means a person that understands the nature of every single human being. He comes and he says, before you take on a bet, you have to understand what you're dealing with. You're not dealing with something. Understand what it is. And then you could take a bet. Don't confront an enemy without understanding where their strength and where their weakness is. You have to tackle them down, understand how they work, right? And then you could actually come and confront it. So he says, it would have been already enough that you would have lost the 400 that you just lost, and that you would have even paid 400 zuz, and you would have still not getting me angry. That's what Hillel comes and he tells this person. Now, when we come and we want to stop and analyze this story, we could think to ourselves, 1 second, we have a few questions. First of all, Hillel, right? This Hillel Hazaken, Nasi, he's a prince, an elderly person. He's going to come and take, some troublemaker is going to come and start being this alzel, disgracing him, calling him as Hillel here, as if that he's some Joe Schmo on the street. What is this? He's a Nasi, he should have been Makpid. Who do you think you are? This is how you speak to the big rabbi. This is how you speak to a Nasi Israel. He didn't do that. Okay, fine. The second one, why are they spending so much money? What's exactly going on? That they're making a bet on 400 zuz, a huge amount of money, an enormous amount. And number 3, why didn't Hillel just come and say, you know what? Rabotai, listen, I have all the time for you in the world. But come on Friday night. We finished a meal. We have a long time. Come. Now he's going to waste his entire time on Erev Shabbat to come to this person and start answering him all the crazy questions that he wants, right? As if to say that it was an incredible question that you asked my son. What exactly is going on? But Chachamim come and they say that there's something much deeper than this. And what I read, which was, I thought, an incredible insight, is that these troublemakers, they were trying to understand. Hillel was a person that was known to everybody. He was anvatan. He was a person that was humble, noble. He had patience. He never got angry. He was never makpid. But they went and they said, but it's not normal in a human being to be like this. They said every human being crashes. It just needs the straw. Where's the straw on the camel's back? To break it. We just have to see it. Everyone has that point of no return that they just get angry and they snap. The question is where it is. So they knew that it wasn't going to be an easy task. And that's why they put such an enormous amount of money. But they thought that for sure he was going to fall. They thought that for sure he was going to tip and he's going to go on to the side. And then that's it. They have him in his pocket. And now I'm going to win my money. Because he thought that every human being was able to do that. And that's why all of a sudden now comes Hillel Hazaken without knowing about their bet. But again, you have to know ruchacha. He understood. He comes and he starts analyzing. This person is coming Erev Shabbat and asking me these crazy questions, calling me by my first name without giving any respect. You know what? I have in front of me that I should actually be strict. I should come and tell him off. Tell him as a Nasi of Yisrael, it's a sul. It's prohibited. I could put him in Hidui. I could excommunicate him. I could do many things to him. But all of a sudden I have a balance. I have in front of me. Should I get angry? Or should I at least even show that I'm angry? Or all of a sudden, am I going to be that, no, it's on the other side. I should say that I'm going to be humble. I'm going to forgo. I'm going to forget it. To forbear everything that happens. And say, you know what? I'm not going to get angry. What do you want, my son? I'm here for you. Whatever that you need. And that's what Hillel wanted to teach us, which was actually even a greater message for generations than if he would have been strict, even though he could have and should have been strict. Because Hillel Hazaken was teaching us, understand that when I'm going to come and look at this person, I'm not looking at him as a person. I'm looking at him as an object, as a challenge. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts in front of every single one of us challenges. And every single one is like the pawn on the chessboard, that they're there and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is putting them. And he's testing us. How do we confront the problem? How do we confront this person that's in front of us? Do we realize that it's coming from HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Do we come and we analyze it and say, you know what? Why are we going to get angry? Angry at who? At what? Why would I get angry? It doesn't even make sense to get angry. However, though, Kam Chachamim, and they say, but this is how we're supposed to look at things in life. Especially now, during times of virus, and we're at home, it's much easier to step on other people's toes. And we could be walking on eggshells. Because we're always together. The Pasuk actually says, a person should distance himself from his friend's house. What does that mean? Don't always be a nuisance. Don't always be at your friend's house. Why? Your visit should always be short and sweet like honey. Because if you're going to always be like not like someone that's going to be there like a nuisance, a pain in the neck, they're going to get tired of you. And here is a very big danger. Because here we're always together, right? You can't really go out. Everything's closed. You're stuck at home. You're with your children. And somebody could say a comment. A child could do something. They break something else. It could be whether it's the spouse, whether anyone else. And all of a sudden we don't realize that 1 second, they're all challenges. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is testing us and saying, don't think that you have to break. Hashem's testing us and saying, what do you have in front of you? If we come and we come up to the challenge, right, what happens is that we overcome it. We actually just became better. We became better people. That's exactly what we wanted. We wanted to become better people. Because like the Rambam says, the curse of the avirah of cursing the deaf person was not because you're going to embarrass him. He doesn't even understand what you're saying. You're talking Chinese, or it's behind his back and you're cursing him out. You think he understands you? So he's not getting embarrassed. He's not suffering. So what's the Yisur then to curse him? And the Yisur is not because of him. It's because of us. If we became so angry that we could actually curse, it's a problem in us. And therefore we have to stop. Think to ourselves and say, you know what? Calm ourselves down. Let's analyze what's happening. Let's see, Hashem is testing us. And let's win. And there's actually even something even better than that. Something which I think a lot of people don't even realize. Many times these challenges come in life and they do it purposely. These bets, it could be that it's not a bet for money, but these people will come and they'll purposely try to test us. And many times from experience we learn the greatest, most powerful antidote or remedy that you could actually fight back is not with words. Because if you raise your voice and they raise their voices, and you fight and they fight, it's a no-win situation. Everybody lost. But the way that truly win is to keep your calm. Never raise your voice. Never lose your cool. We're always calm. And then by doing that, that actually even gets them even more angry. But that shouldn't be your purpose. But in essence, and ultimately, that's what's actually happening. Because again, that test that is coming is supposed to try to get us off, to break, to get to that point. We have to realize, never sharpen that point. Always keep calm, keep cool. B'ezrat Hashem, I just hope that in these days, we're able to internalize this such an important lesson. So we could continue growing. We could forgo many things. Ma'avira midotenu, that we don't get angry, we don't start taking vengeance, because that will actually solve a lot of the problems, whether it's interpersonal relationships, between husband and wife, between children and the parents, between everyone that's going around us. Because again, the main message behind it is the midata kas is the worst thing that we could actually ever have in this world. Never to get angry. B'ezrat Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should bring us speedily the Mashiach, so that we could get out of these problems. Shemai daila tzarotenu, that we should be able to actually rejoice again in the building of Bet HaMikdash B'nei Yameinu. Amen. Have a wonderful Shabbat. And I hope, B'ezrat Hashem, to see you all soon, B'ezrat Hashem.